There we go.
Okay. Good afternoon, honorable judges, fellow FFA members, and guests. My name is Jessica Graves, and I am here representing the Lowell FFA chapter in this prepared public speaking contest. The title of my speech is Saving Oceans, Saving Us. Honorable timekeeper, I am ready to begin. With every drop of water you drink, every breath you take, you are connected to the sea, no matter where on earth you live. This is a quote by Sylvia Earle, who is an American oceanographer, aquanaut, and author. She was also the chief scientist for the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration. There, she was responsible for the health of the nation's waters, including the devastating effects of Iraq's burning of Kuwait's oil fields. However, that is not the only form of pollution that is putting the health of our oceans and, consequently, us, at risk. Toxins are being dumped into the water intentionally all around the world, even though this process has been illegal for nearly 40 years. And wastes are also making their way into the water unintentionally at alarming rates due to the runoff from farms around the world. And although the ocean is massive, taking up about 70% of Earth's surface, these harmful actions, these actions that harm our oceans come back to harm us just as much. And even thousands of miles away from the coast, here in Michigan. Everything is connected. We all learned about the water cycle back in elementary school, but as adults, we tend to forget just how much impact we can have. The water that doesn't soak into the soil flows into smaller streams, which flow into larger rivers, which eventually empty into the ocean. And this water is carried around by the ocean currents, then rises back up to the surface and evaporates into the clouds, which travel far and wide before raining back down onto the land again. Therefore, even the slightest amount of pollutants will travel all the way through this cycle, damaging every process in its wake. Some of these things, when farmers add fertilizers and pesticides to their crop water, everything is affected. The water, some of it will be absorbed into the soil, but most is carried to the ocean, killing all of the main life in the bays and estuaries. And it kills crops, too, when it falls back to earth as acid rain. This water that runs off from fields is helped along by canals and any other kind of pavement that increases both the pace of the flowing water and the amount of pollutants that are accumulated. These aids in runoff significantly decrease the amount of water that is soaked back into the soil, desperately needed to replenish the aquifers. Now, don't worry, it's not just farmers that cause all this pollution. Hospitals and factories, along with others, share the blame. Land-based pollutants, such as plastics, account for 80% of all marine debris. Mercury, released from the burning coal for energy, ends up in the water and in the fish we eat. Millions of pounds of pharmaceuticals have been flushed down the drain in years previously by hospitals and long-term health facilities. About 706 million gallons of oil are leaked from ships or washed from land into the ocean every year. And since the Industrial Revolution, the acidity has increased by 30% due to the absorption of 50% of the carbon dioxide from our carbon emissions. This polluted water affects more than just crops. It directly affects people as well. Waterborne diseases and toxic chemicals are transported by polluted water, and 3.5 million people die every year from water-related diseases. This information about the disastrous consequences of toxic runoff is not new. However, a recent study by Stanford has finally been able to prove it to be true. The lead researchers were Kevin Arrigo, Pamela Matson, and Mike Beman. They did their research in the Sea of Cortez near the Baja California Peninsula using a NASA satellite to detect the amount of phytoplankton near the water's surface. They knew about the natural algal blooms that occurred, And these blooms are driven by wind, bringing important nutrients such as nitrogen to the surface, thus producing a sudden jump in the phytoplankton population. However, not all blooms are good. There are some artificially induced blooms, including red tides and brown tides, that annihilate the ecosystem. These tides spur an intense algal growth that is soon overrun by bacteria. And as these bacteria multiply, they consume all of the oxygen in the water. This hypoxia that is created creates a dead zone in the water. And they also cause outbreaks of life-threatening diseases such as paralytic shellfish poisoning that become present in the food we eat. Furthermore, these tides are caused by none else than the fertilizer that runs off from farms. In this area, there are 4 irrigation events per year. The researchers watched a bloom appear within just a matter of days after every event for every year of the 5 that were observed. This proves that there was just enough time for the water to run from the fields to the ocean, creating an immediate harmful bloom. Arrigo concluded that nitrogen-based fertilizers are the primary source of nitrogen pollution, and their use is predicted to double or even triple over the next 50 years. Keep in mind that toxic runoff does not only happen in places near the coast. Our lakes also experience these dreadful effects. It is just much easier to see the consequences on a larger scale. Now, this may seem a bit overwhelming, but there are things that can be done. Put simply, reduce and reuse. Some of the ways that toxic runoff can be reduced are by using more natural fertilizers, such as sea salts, which is the mineral that gets left behind when you evaporate seawater, or by simply using less fertilizers, or by planting ocean-friendly gardens with native plants that require much less water to thrive. Also, by creating contoured ditches along roadways that move the water from the road to where trees and other plants can use it. And finally, by building better drainage processes in the cities so the water has somewhere to go and doesn't just continue to accumulate. The reuse of gray water, or water in the home that has been already slightly used by showers or washing machines, is also great for watering plants. This significantly cuts down on the amount of water being sent to sewage plants and released into the ocean, killing the ecosystem there. By working together with the government, agriculture, and other businesses, we can continue to reduce the amount of pollution that is being put into our oceans and also continue to reap its benefits. Researchers continue to find pharmaceutical advantages being offered by the ocean. These marine-based drugs include painkillers, which are 1,000 times more powerful than morphine, a new form of antibiotics for staph infection, asthma treatment, and most importantly, they found a fish-killing toxin that has been proven helpful at battling the growth of renal cancer cells, which previously was one of the most challenging cancers to treat. So, as you can clearly see, a healthy ocean, a healthy world. Remember, with every drop of water you drink, every breath you take, you are connected to the sea, no matter where on earth you live. Honorable Timekeeper, that concludes my presentation. I am now ready to entertain any questions that you may have.
Why does a farmer use fertilizer on his field?
The fertilizers that the farmer uses help to grow the crops, help them become stronger, healthier, grow faster, and also more disease resistant.
Jessica, you've taken on a huge topic with the oceans, and one of the things you said at the start was the air we breathe, and you never mentioned much about that during your talk. Did I miss out on something, or have you got a paragraph in there about the oxygen given off by aquatic life makes up most of the oxygen that we breathe, because plants aren't producing much here in the wintertime, and yet we're still breathing away. So,
Right. No, I don't have anything in this speech about that. Because I was thinking about adding that, but then like my speech was so long that like I was gonna, if I added another paragraph, it would land like another 30 seconds to a minute to it.
When you talk about the air we breathe at the start,
Right.
you don't say much about the air we breathe. You talk a lot about the water we drink, but if there's enough time, and if you could add a sentence in there about the oxygen produced by aquatic life is critical to our daily living, daily breathing. That's a thought.
Okay.
I know the oceans are a huge topic, and there's lots of things to talk